Greetings, silent film fans. I'm going to try something a little bit different tonight. First, I've got to pop open my Lidl orange seltzer. Oh, it's good stuff. Well, uh, I've been looking around at a few things lately, and talking with a friend at work, about some of the classic silent films, and one that we both agreed on as being, in our top five silent films is Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Um, Of course, there's been so many versions of this film. This one right here is a 1080p rip of the Murnau collection print that came out a couple years ago. I've gone ahead and thrown a black and white filter on it just because I wanted to play around with a few things. I guess I should start with an introduction. My name's Doug. I am the brains, if you will, behind the Silent Film Restoration channel. I utilize Adobe Premiere and After Effects to go in and basically tidy up some of the old silent films. This one here, I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. There's no sense in trying to outdo this one because this is the ultimate print. But one thing that I've always had a fascination with silent movies, and some may look at it as taboo, but now that these are in the public domain, I've always wanted to create, I guess, alternate versions of the films. Just for the fun of it, just not to besmirch the original creators, or but just to try and do something a little bit different. And one of the ideas I've always had with Caligari is to create a I guess what I'll call the somnambulist version of the film, something that's really dreamlike. Kind of brings out a little bit. So I'm gonna actually start. There's a scene that I've had my eye on recently. So I'm going to go into here. And actually, since I go frame by frame, you can actually see this splice mark that the Murnau group left in the print. When I'm editing films, a lot of the times I will eliminate the splice marks just to try and clean up the films. I'm trying to just kind of make them available for a newer generation. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to cut this shot right here and spread it over a little bit. And let me see where this clip ends. Yeah, I've always liked this sequence. This sequence right here has always baffled me. Back in college, around 97 or so, I was in an introduction to a film history course, and Caligari was one of the films that we watched. This scene, and I've never seen it in another print. I've posted to a couple of message boards, but there was something in the print that I saw that I've never seen again, and folks who I've spoken to have never seen it either, or never even heard of it. But I call it the psychedelic freakout scene because at this portion of the print that I saw, there were close-up shots of Caligari's eyes bulging out, and then it would cut to scenes basically of the painted scenery within the room. Basically it was, I guess, kind of showing his descent into madness, at this point. Again, like I said, I've never seen this again. I don't know if this was something that was added at a later date by, someone else, just to kind of, add to the film or what. But I know what I saw because it stuck through, it's stuck with me for, got yeah, 26 years now, and I've always wanted to see it again, but alas, no one knows about it, so or no one else has heard about it, so I'll have to try and reach out uh, to my old college and see if they still have the print that we saw. All right, I'm gonna cut this one here. All right, and I've got this little sequence isolated. So this is the sequence where I guess Caligari is exposed to Caesar, who has deceased, and then he slowly goes mad. So one of the things I always wanted to try with this sequence, especially, is like a little time effect I learned years ago. A couple copies. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I've got 5 copies. I'm going to leave the opacity of this scene at 100. I'm going to drop the second layer to 50. Go 33, 22, 11. So we're going to leave it like that. And now what I'm going to do, and let's see, I might have to back this one up. I'm going to back it up 8 frames. Going to back this layer up 4 frames. Leave this one set for 0. I'm going to move this layer ahead by 4 frames. And I'm going to move this one ahead by 8 frames. So basically what you should see is an odd visual effect will be created because there's going to be, between these 5 layers of video, there's going to be roughly a half a second. So you'll see you'll see a move, and then you'll see the trails, and you'll see the pre-movement because this layer up here is ahead a few seconds. So I'm going to actually maximize this now so we can see it better. There we go. So here's like something that I've always been interested in trying with this film, just because of the nature of the film. I always thought this would be something fun to try in like a somnambulist edition of the film. Take and add some creepy music, sound effects to it. But I really think here, when he lunges for the one physician, you'll really see a little bit of madness ensue when everyone starts moving around. This will be pretty cool. I'll be quiet so we can watch this part. There you go. This is what I was envisioning. I think what really helps us is the fact that Cesar, and I forget the character's name here, they're still while everyone else is moving. It really kind of sets that motion apart. So here they are dragging him into the cell. We'll see what happens after this. Oh yeah, this is a real cool effect. It's nice where you get those images where something's still and there's a lot of movement going on. All right, so there's that. There's a lot that can be done with that. There's another sequence of the film where I remember an effect like that would be well played out. I'm going to move back here. Around here. Take a cut from it. Go ahead. Take it to there. I think as what we'll find neat with this one too is the fact that she's walking towards the camera while they're fairly stationary. It should have a similar effect. So let me do the same thing with this one. Oops. All right. Do the same thing. Adjust the opacity levels so that each of the video layers shows through. Right. And next thing we need to do is adjust our frame rate, or I guess the frame offset. And let's go with 8 frames. Go 4 frames. Is that at 0? I'll go 4 frames positive, and now 8 frames positive to complete our half-second loop. And let me see, it should be this guy here. These two, I believe. Oh, okay, so it's that one showing through. The trick with doing these is when you have overlap like this, you're going to have to really be diligent to kind of cut in to get these shots kind of how I want them. And that should be this guy. Yep. Let's see. All right, let's see what happens here. Yeah, there we go. Should get the effect with her walking. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Imagine that too with some ambient ambient music. My betrothed. Das ist mein Bruder. Okay. That was an interesting thing. Let me go in here and kind of shave off. These should be coming from down here. Yeah. Okay. So let me see where they pop up. Who's there? Should be about there, I bet. Another thing, there's so many effects that I rarely use in my day-to-day job. I do a little bit of video editing for my work, but everything's pretty much straight editing. Don't get a chance to be creative, but um, through an effect like this. Let's see what these. That would look with her walking through. Okay, so you kind of give it the fisheye bevel, and it's kind of cool. See how she kind of pops out of it there. Really effective for that shot. You can actually see how it looks just on the one. You can see a little bit of movement in that image there. Cool. In fact, I want to go back to the beginning just to kind of show you some of the things that are available. Let me delete the effect and turn it off. You can see some movement in that image. Zoom in a little bit closer to where you can see it. See, especially there. There's something, a little filter or a tool that we've got called a warp stabilizer. I'm going to show you that. Go on here and let me throw a stabilizer on here. So what this is going to do is going to analyze the image and hopefully, yeah, see now how that movement is a little less noticeable through here. I'll go ahead and turn that effect off. See how it's a little more noticeable because the image is not zoomed in. So what a warp stabilizer will do is it'll kind of, based on the parameters that you give it, it will adjust the scale of the image. So you do lose a little bit around the borders, but what it does is it enlarges the image so that it will create I guess just a more stable image and eliminates some of the movement. This isn't really the best use for it in this clip. More like the earlier films from the early 1900s, where they're using the hand cranks, and you see the image, really moving a lot. They really help in those instances. Let me just see if on this one it'll do anything. Yeah, I'm not really noticing too much. The other thing that video editors also have available to us is you can set keyframes, positional keyframes, and scale keyframes. So I'm not going to futz with this too much just because it is such a minor movement, but go into here, set that keyframe 101, and up just a hair. We'll see what happens. There you go. So just by doing that, instead of having the image kind of make like a U, it looked like it was kind of making like a U movement. Now it looks like it's more or less just like a slight zoom, just a very faint zoom coming out at you. So I was able to kind of mask that movement just by increasing the scale of the footage and by adjusting the position. So you can see here it was at the y-axis, it was 540, and then there it's just down to 534, and then the scale went from 100 to 101. So it's just some of the video tools, or things that video editors have available to us. We're doing things again. This film here is not isn't in need of a lot of adjustment. I mean, this is the definitive print. There are some sequences that, like here, the black in this section, and this could just be an artifact from the encoder when it was ripped to MP4. But that black could be a little bit blacker. More black, as Nigel Tufnell said back with Spinal Tap. Could it get any more black? So, taking basic lumetri, and with here, there's different ways you can do it. So you can just grab something in the middle and kind of pull that down, and that creates a little bit more contrast. You can also just drop the black level itself, which is, in this instance, that would be a little bit more preferential, since this kind of brings down all of the levels when you're doing it in the middle. And I'm really just looking at that black level, just because it's not black. So it gives you an idea of how we can adjust things just to make them look a little bit better. Right. There's another one here. So a shot like that, I mean, that should really be black. You can even see it extending into this shot where it's that black's a little off. I'm actually surprised now that I'm going through the film that they left so many splice marks in there. For me, that one minor frame, I mean, in my book, there's nothing wrong with eliminating that. And there's some people who are ultra purists might, differ in opinion just because you're changing the film at that point. But I mean, for me, when I'm watching a film, little things like that, they catch my eye only because I've been doing video editing and done video for over 25 years now. This one, same thing. Just pull that black level down, just make that image pop a little bit more. It'd be interesting to see too, because I did throw a black and white filter on here. See what it looked like originally. So this was the Murnau's print, and again, some of this could be an artifact from being encoded over to an MP4. So it may be a little bit richer, like that on the actual DVD. You can also take and adjust the hues, saturations. There's so many different things you can get into. One thing I like, you can adjust your highlights, kind of make things a little bit, moodier. You get your mids, and then of course your shadows. So it's just, again, this movie really doesn't need much. Just I might tweak it a little bit as I go through and kind of make my somnambulist version. But turn that back on. All right, well, we're hitting the 9 o'clock hour here in Maryland, so I think I'm going to log off for the night. But like I said, I just wanted to, kind of show you guys a little bit of what I do behind the scenes, in these films when I'm making them better. Again, I recently wanted to, work on a little personal project here with Caligari. So I'll leave you with my little somnambulist version of this scene, and this will be something that I'll be working on for a while. Oops, sorry, I have the other layers turned off. It's going to take me a while to kind of work through this film and build it, the edit that I want to see, but something to look forward to. I'll have other little nightly edit sessions, um, just to show you progress, and might even do some nightly edit sessions where I'm working on other just beat up films. That way you can kind of see the process. So, again, I really like the juxtaposition here between the still Caligari and then everyone else moving. Look at that visual there. Chaos. Cool. I should point out that years ago, and I still play a little bit of guitar, but years ago I made several recordings with a friend. Some of these would be ideal for this film. Playing this piece was all me. Just playing a bass through a bass synthesizer pedal, just a one-note drone, and then those sounds right there are me taking a microphone and slamming it into a cymbal. So you can really see how like some music right there might work over some of the creepier sequences in Caligari. See how we go over this. Especially a scene like this. All right, guys. Well, I had a lot of fun doing this tonight. Hopefully, you enjoy watching live and on replay, and look forward to doing some more of these coming up soon. All right. Take care.